Have you ever felt the weight of a grudge? That heavy, sinking feeling in your chest when you think about someone who wronged you? It's like carrying a backpack full of rocks and it just gets heavier with each passing day. We've all been there. But what if I told you there's a way to drop that backpack, to let go of that weight, and find true freedom? Today, we're diving deep into one of the most powerful, life-changing concepts taught by Jesus, forgiveness. It's not just about saying, "I forgive you." It's about a profound healing of the heart. Let's start by looking at what forgiveness really is. And what it isn't, forgiveness isn't about pretending the hurt never happened. It's not condoning what was done or saying that it was okay. It's not even necessarily about reconciling with the person who hurt you, especially if the relationship is unsafe. So what is it? In its simplest form, forgiveness is a choice. It's a conscious decision to release the debt you feel someone owes you. It's canceling their obligation to make it right, not for their sake, but for yours. Think of it this way. Unforgiveness is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to get sick. The only one truly suffering is you. Jesus understood this deeply. His teachings on forgiveness were radical for his time, and they remain just as revolutionary today. One of the most famous examples is in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 18. Peter, one of Jesus' closest disciples, comes to him and asks, "Lord, how often will my brother sin against me, and I forgive him? As many as 7 times?" Now, Peter probably thought he was being generous. The religious teachers of the day suggested forgiving someone 3 times. So 7 times? That's more than double, but Jesus' response is staggering. He says, "I do not say to you 7 times, but 77 times. Now, Jesus wasn't giving a literal number. He wasn't saying, "Okay, Peter, get a notepad and start tallying." Once you hit 490, you're free to hold that grudge forever. No, the number 77, or in some translations, 70 times 7, was a symbolic way of saying a limitless number. It represents a continuous, ongoing attitude of forgiveness. It's a lifestyle, not a one-time event. Forgiveness is meant to be a constant flow, a reflex of the heart that has been touched by grace. Why? Because Jesus knew that bitterness is a root that, if allowed to grow, will poison every area of our lives. To illustrate this point, Jesus immediately tells a parable story with a powerful lesson. It's the story of the unforgiving servant. A king decides to settle accounts with his servants, and one is brought to him who owes an astronomical amount, 10,000 talents. To put this in perspective, 1 talent was worth about 20 years of a laborer's wages. So, 10,000 talents was an unpayable, unimaginable debt. It would be like owing billions of dollars today. The servant begs for mercy, and the king, moved with compassion, does something incredible. He doesn't just give him more time to pay. He cancels the entire debt. Wiped clean. Can you imagine the relief? The sheer joy and freedom that servant must have felt? But the story takes a dark turn. That same servant, fresh off of being forgiven this massive debt, goes out and finds a fellow servant who owes him a tiny amount, 100 denarii, which was about 100 days' wages. A lot of money for sure, but absolutely nothing compared to the debt he was just forgiven. He grabs his fellow servant, chokes him, and demands, "Pay what you owe." The man begs for mercy, using the very same words the first servant used to the king, but there is no compassion. Instead, he has the man thrown into prison until the debt can be paid. When the king hears about this, he is furious. He calls the servant back and says, "You wicked servant! I canceled all that debt of yours because you begged me to. Shouldn't you have had mercy on your fellow servant just as I had on you?" And the king hands him over to be tormented until he can pay back all he owed. This parable is a powerful mirror. We are the first servant. The debt we owe to God because of our own failings and mistakes is immeasurable, unpayable. Yet, through Jesus, God extends an incredible, radical grace. He cancels our debt completely. He forgives us. The core message of the gospel is this profound act of divine forgiveness. So, when we turn around and refuse to forgive someone else for the comparatively small hurts they've inflicted on us, we are acting just like that unforgiving servant. We are forgetting the immense mercy we ourselves have received. Our ability to forgive others flows directly from our understanding of how much we have been forgiven by God, This is the key to healing. When we hold on to unforgiveness, we are essentially placing ourselves in a prison of our own making. We replay the hurt over and over in our minds. We fuel the anger, the resentment, the bitterness. It affects our relationships, our mental health, and even our physical well-being. Studies have shown that harboring unforgiveness can lead to higher levels of stress, anxiety, and even impact our immune system. Forgiveness, on the other hand, is the key that unlocks the prison door. It frees us from the past and allows us to move forward. Perhaps the most powerful demonstration of forgiveness is seen in Jesus' own life, right up to his final moments. While hanging on the cross in agony, being mocked and tortured by the very people he came to save, what does he say? He doesn't curse them. He doesn't call for revenge. He looks to heaven and says, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." This is the ultimate example. Forgiveness in the face of the ultimate betrayal and injustice. It shows us that forgiveness is not based on whether the other person deserves it. It's a reflection of the heart of God. It is an act of love, an act of grace, and an act of profound spiritual strength. So how do we practically apply this? It starts with a choice. It might be the hardest choice you ever make. You might not feel like forgiving. Your emotions might be screaming the opposite. That's okay. Forgiveness is not a feeling. It's a decision of the will. Start by acknowledging the hurt. Don't minimize it. Bring that pain to God in prayer. Tell him exactly how you feel, then make a conscious decision. Say it out loud if you have to. In the name of Jesus, I choose to forgive person's name for what they did. Hand that person and the situation over to God. Release your right to revenge or to see them pay for what they did. Trust that God is a just God and he will handle it. This might not be a one-time prayer. You may have to make this choice every time the memory comes up, every time the feelings of anger or bitterness surface. When they do, remind yourself, no, I have already forgiven them. I have released them to God. It's a process of training your heart and mind to walk in this new freedom. It's like weeding a garden. Just because you pulled the weed once doesn't mean a new one won't try to sprout. You just have to keep pulling it until the root dies. Forgiveness sets a captive free, and you will find that the captive was you. It heals the deep wounds of the heart, mends broken relationships where possible, and restores our connection with God. It allows God's peace, which surpasses all understanding, to guard our hearts and minds. Is there someone you need to forgive today? Is there a weight you've been carrying for far too long? I want to encourage you to take that first step. Make the choice to forgive, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve to be free. You deserve to live a life unburdened by the poison of bitterness. You deserve to experience the full healing that Jesus offers. Thank you so much for joining me today to explore this incredible topic. I hope this has encouraged you and given you a new perspective on the power of forgiveness. If this message resonated with you, please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel for more content that helps us live out our faith in practical ways. And please share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's continue the conversation. God bless you and walk in freedom.